Welcome to Money Mindsets, where smart thinking builds real wealth and better financial habits. Today, we're uncovering how inflation quietly eats away at your hard-earned money, and what you can do to stop it before it's too late. Inflation is silent. It doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't announce itself with headlines or alarms. But every single day, it eats a little more of your savings, a little more of your purchasing power, a little more of your financial security. You may not notice it at first, but by the time you do, your money isn't worth what it used to be. What once bought you a full cart of groceries now buys you half. What once covered your rent now barely pays the bills. That's inflation, and it's not just numbers on a government report. It's real, it's personal, and it's dangerous. Let's start with something simple. Imagine you have $10,000 sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing in interest. At an average inflation rate of just 4%, the value of your money shrinks by 4% every year. That means after 1 year, your $10,000 has the same purchasing power as $9,600. After 5 years, that's roughly $8,200. You didn't spend a cent, but your money lost nearly $1,800 in value simply because prices kept rising. That's the invisible tax inflation places on everyone. Now think about this. In 1990, a loaf of bread cost around 70 cents. Today, that same loaf might cost $3 or more. That's a 328% increase. If your income or savings didn't grow at the same pace, you're falling behind, even if your bank balance looks the same. This is why rich people invest and poor people save. Because the rich understand that inflation doesn't sleep. Money sitting still loses value. Money in motion grows. Take the example of Warren Buffett. In the early 1970s, the United States faced severe inflation. Prices were rising, currencies were unstable, and many people were panicking. Buffett didn't stash his money in cash. He bought companies that produced real goods, businesses that could raise prices with inflation, like Coca-Cola and Geico. Decades later, those investments became billion-dollar assets. Why? Because while inflation eroded the value of cash, it amplified the value of productive assets. Pause for a second. If you're watching this video right now, I want you to think about what your money is doing. Is it sitting idle in a savings account earning less than inflation? Or is it working for you, growing, investing, compounding? If it's not, don't worry. That's what we're about to fix. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. Every week, I break down real financial strategies that actually work in the real world, without the fake hype, without the complicated jargon. So subscribe right now, and let's build your financial future together. Now, let's understand what inflation really is. Inflation happens when the prices of goods and services rise over time. But what causes it? In most economies, it's triggered by an increase in the money supply, meaning there's more money chasing the same amount of goods. Think of it like this. If there are 10 apples and $10, each apple costs $1. But if suddenly there are $20 and still only 10 apples, people are willing to pay more, and prices go up. That's inflation in a nutshell. But here's where it gets personal. Inflation affects everyone differently. If you own assets, like real estate, stocks, or a business, inflation can actually work for you. The value of your assets may rise along with prices. But if all your wealth is in cash or a low-interest savings account, inflation destroys your wealth quietly. That's why the wealthy seem to stay ahead. They position themselves where inflation helps, not hurts. Let's look at a real example. Between 2020 and 2022, global inflation rates surged. Many people saw their rent, groceries, and energy bills double. But people who owned homes during that period saw their property value skyrocket. The average home in the U.S. increased in value by over 30%. Their equity grew while inflation punished savers. That's the cruel paradox of inflation. It makes the rich richer and the poor poorer. Now let's talk about how inflation kills your savings from the inside. When you deposit money in a savings account that pays, say, 2% interest, but inflation is 6%, you're effectively losing 4% of your purchasing power every year. It feels safe, but it's actually one of the riskiest things you can do in the long run, because your money is guaranteed to lose value. During the 1980s, people thought they were being smart by saving cash during high inflation periods. But those who kept their wealth in real estate, stocks, or gold were the ones who survived financially. For example, in 1980, gold prices spiked to record highs as investors fled from the falling dollar. Those who owned gold protected their wealth. Those who kept cash lost nearly 10% of its value in a single year. Here's the truth. Inflation punishes laziness. It rewards those who act, who learn, who adapt. And that's where your power lies. You can't stop inflation, but you can outsmart it. So how do you fight back? Step 1. Stop relying on traditional savings accounts as your main wealth strategy. They're good for emergency funds, not for long-term growth. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses there for safety. Beyond that, your money needs to move. Step 2. Invest in assets that outpace inflation. Historically, the stock market has averaged 7 to 10% annual returns, far above average inflation. Real estate is another powerful hedge, as property values and rents tend to rise with prices. Even index funds, or ETFs, can help you ride the growth of entire economies instead of watching inflation eat your savings. Step 3. Increase your income. This is something most financial gurus ignore. When inflation rises, your costs go up, so your income must grow too. That might mean starting a side hustle, freelancing, or investing in your own education to boost your earning power. For example, one woman named Tasha started freelancing as a virtual assistant in 2021 to fight inflation's impact on her grocery bills. 2 years later, she earns more than her full-time job used to pay, and inflation no longer scares her. Step 4. Own things that hold real value. Inflation can't touch skills, creativity, or assets like businesses and intellectual property. Think about it. Prices can rise, but your ability to create, innovate, and sell value stays with you. That's how people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos thrive. They don't just save, they build systems that generate income no matter what the economy looks like. Now, I want to make something very clear. Beating inflation doesn't mean living in fear. It means being proactive. It means understanding how money works so you can protect yourself. Think of your money like a garden. If you don't plant it, water it, and protect it from pests, weeds will take over. Inflation is that weed, and you have to manage it constantly. Let's talk about a real-life scenario. In Argentina, inflation hit over 100% in 2023. Imagine your groceries doubling in price every few months. That's not just inconvenient, that's life-changing. Many Argentinians switched to using US dollars or cryptocurrencies just to preserve value. Some started investing in land, art, and even livestock to fight back. Those who adapted survived. Those who waited lost everything. The lesson is clear. Never assume your money will hold its value on its own. At this point, if you're starting to feel a little anxious, that's normal. Most people never think about inflation until it's too late. But the good news is, you're already ahead just by learning this. The moment you decide to take control, to move your money from idle to active, you're breaking free from the trap that inflation sets. Now let's talk about your mindset. Inflation is psychological as much as it is economic. When prices rise, people panic. They cut spending, hoard cash, and stop investing. Exactly what inflation wants you to do. The wealthy, however, do the opposite. They buy assets on sale, acquire businesses, and position themselves for recovery. That's why recessions create more millionaires than booms do. Take Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates. During the 1970s inflation crisis, while many investors ran for safety, Dalio studied economic cycles and positioned his fund to profit from changing interest rates. Today he's worth billions, not because he escaped inflation, but because he learned how to dance with it. So here's your action plan. First, review your savings. How much of it is sitting idle? Move anything above your emergency fund into assets that grow. Second, automate your investing. Consistency beats timing. Use platforms that let you invest small amounts regularly. Third, build or buy something that generates cash flow, like a digital product, rental unit, or dividend-paying stock. Finally, never stop learning about money. Financial education is the only real defense against economic uncertainty. If you've watched this far, that means you're serious about your financial future, and I want to help you build it. So before we move on, hit the like button. It helps this video reach more people who need this message. And subscribe if you haven't yet, because I'll be dropping more deep, practical lessons just like this every week. Now, let's dig deeper. Inflation doesn't just impact your bank account. It shapes your entire lifestyle. When everything costs more, your choices shrink. You travel less, eat out less, save less, and stress more. That constant pressure creates a scarcity mindset, making you think small when you should be thinking big. Inflation wins when you stop dreaming. Don't let it. Instead, use it as motivation. The more prices rise, the more you should push to create value. Consider this. In 2008, during the financial crisis, many people lost jobs and savings. But some used that chaos as a turning point. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, started her business during a recession with $5,000 in savings. Inflation and uncertainty didn't stop her, they pushed her. Today, she's a billionaire. That's the power of perspective. Inflation is not your enemy, ignorance is. Once you understand the rules of the game, you can play it to win. Every time prices rise, look for what's gaining value. Every time money loses power, look for where it flows next. Smart investors follow value, not fear. Now let's recap what we've learned. Inflation kills savings when your money earns less than prices increase. To protect yourself, you must invest in assets that grow faster than inflation, like stocks, real estate, or even your own business. Keep a safety fund, but never hoard cash long-term. And most importantly, keep improving your income and financial knowledge. Here's your final thought. Your savings are not security, your knowledge is. The more you understand how money works, the safer you become no matter what the economy does. Inflation may shrink dollars, but it can't shrink discipline, creativity, or determination. Those are your real assets. Thank you for watching. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel for more lessons on building real wealth, managing your money wisely, and staying ahead of economic changes. Together, we'll make sure your financial future is stronger than inflation itself. Because remember, inflation may kill savings, but it can never kill strategy.
Money mindsets change the way you think. Dream it, build it, standing on the brink. Money mindsets, vision so clear. We talk wealth.